Happy Monday, everyone. We're in the second week of 2024 where things
we are.
really begin with the New Year's resolutions, right? You give yourself that first week to kind of just get settled in and feel out the resolutions.
Yeah, you got to feel out the year before you can actually put your foot in it.
Yes, there we go. And how are you feeling for the second week?
Rough.
Oh,
Actually,
okay.
not rough. This Sunday, I kind of feel like I, for lack of better words, kind of got my life together this past Sunday.
Well, that's good.
But today on Studio 10, we're going to help everybody really put the right foot into the new year. And we're doing that with Regina Carey. She's actually coming back, and today we're doing a Motivational Monday. So we're going to
need that.
Yes.
Yes.
We all do. Let me tell you, especially on this Monday. So she's going to talk about how to actually, have New Year's resolutions, but do them the right way. Flipping the script on self-improvement. So she's going to give us a few tips, but then she's saying, and she's going to show us how to actually apply it.
Ooh, that's the important part because you can learn all of this information, but it won't go to use unless you know how to apply it. Yeah, I like that. Okay.
Yeah, so I have a couple of real-life scenarios that I'm going to throw at her, and she's going to really show us how we can really move into this new year.
Oh, that's perfect.
And also, something that I'm working on this new year as well is getting more into sports.
Oh, really?
And you know what I mean? And kind of really, watching the games, getting into the games and whatnot. So Nicole's actually going to be going live from Celebration Cinema, one of the many places that you can watch the big game tonight. The Natty, go Michigan.
You're kind of wearing the colors here, Rochelle, right now.
I'm not wearing the shirt for the show, but yes, I am right now.
She has blue pants on. You can't see it right now, but yeah, she's got the whole fit.
Exactly. So Nicole's going to be going live at one of the many places, like we said, that you can watch. David Andrews is joining us for some baking news. Perhaps it's Michigan themed, perhaps not.
We'll have to find out.
There you
go.
Plus, Claudia's got a great story as well coming from Holt High School, where we're talking to a few students there. We're doing student mentorship opportunities as well, really helping those students who need a little bit more help in the special education department.
Yeah, give them a little boost.
Yeah, a little boost, a little dose of motivation, some Go Blue, all of it to get us excited for this Monday, and yeah.
All right. Yeah, I know we're really kicking off the whole week with everything happening today, but all right, I'm excited.
So am I. Love it.
The red clock, that was kind of crispy. Go Blue. That is
high five.
That is the one time you'll hear me say Go Blue. Yes, that's right. Otherwise, it's Go Green. But yes, good luck to Michigan.
I didn't say it. You did.
Taking on Washington tonight at 7 o'clock, so make sure you are tuning in for that. We are ready.
Of course. And if you happen to miss anything, don't worry. You can always rewatch before the big game. Head to our YouTube, everywhere, WILX Studio 10.
Perfect. Thank you, Rochelle. We're looking forward to it. You can go to their YouTube page at WILX Studio 10 for all of the latest segments that they post on their YouTube page, their social media. They're always asking great questions on there that are really funny to take part in. I know Justin has had his fair share within Studio 10, whether that's talking during it or, giving his little hot, cold take. So if you want to stay in touch with Studio 10, at WILX Studio 10 is all you need to do. But we have Justin here because I just saw a little glimpse of the sky cam, but looking gray, and it's been looking gray for quite some time.
Yeah, pretty quiet right now. This is kind of the calm before the storm, so to speak. And while tomorrow, as we've been saying for several days, isn't one of those groundbreaking big storm of the century events, it is one that's going to cause a few slippery areas in the morning commute. Looking like a slushy couple inches of snow tomorrow before it changes over to rain. I think by the end of the day tomorrow, I wouldn't be surprised if almost, if not all of the snow is gone by the time the day is done, but I think we might tack on a few slushy inches. So first alert weather day for our Tuesday, and mainly for the morning commute. I think by the afternoon, again, not as much going on, which is good news.
Yeah.
But we are also keeping our eye on a couple more systems coming, especially one at the end of the week. So we're going to talk about that on our first alert forecast.
Well, especially when we haven't gotten the snow in quite some time, right? December was relatively dry, and now it looks like we're just getting hit one after the other.
I know. We're lining up in the storm track now, and so we've avoided it for most of the last 6-7 weeks.
Yeah.
But now we're getting back to reality a little bit, and it is the second week, as you mentioned now, of January, and so we know that even as we stayed mild so far this winter, it never lasts forever where we do that. We've always got at some point the winter comes knocking on the door. And that's what happens this week.
Oh, and it's knocking real loud. So here's a look outside.
Pretty quiet for now. Once, like we said, clouds hanging on. Numbers are in the low to mid 30s. 34 now at the top of the 2 o'clock hour in Lansing. And once again, I expect we probably top out 35, 36 for our high temperature today. Current conditions, well, it's cloudy all across the state. That's been no surprise. We've had those running through most of the daytime. You do notice that the satellite and radar shows our next system, which is moving in from the south and west. And right now, they're starting to see some of the snow and rain and all the like across the Missouri region. And that's, again, continuing to move towards us. It's going to take a little bit to get here. We are dry. We're quiet through this evening as we head into the overnight. We'll start to bring some of that snow into mid-Michigan. Once again, we are calling it a first alert weather day, and it's primarily for the morning tomorrow. So again, by the afternoon, we expect most of us aren't going to be dealing with any issues anymore, which is good news. However, we did want to give you that first alert to, once again, what could be a little bit of a sloppy commute early in the day. Everything's going to start as snow and then have a mix of rain and snow and eventually change to all rain, but not before we get a little bit of slushy accumulation on the road. That'll reduce your traction outside when you're driving around, and with all that falling and that mess in the sky, we'll also have reduced visibility. So we just wanted to give you that first alert and to expect that we have the snow to rain on Tuesday. We'll break it down in the hour by hour here to kind of show you what we're working with. And so this afternoon, once again, not much to write home about, holding on to mainly cloudy skies. That's the same way overnight. You'll notice here at midnight, still not really anything going on, but as we head into the early hours of tomorrow morning, the snow fills in. Again, it's going to be one of those kind of dense, wet snows that is really good packing snow. In fact, outside there, that's what happens when you tend to get it to mix in with a little bit of the rain, which eventually takes over. And you see here quickly in the hour by hour, as we head past noon, it becomes all rain, and it does so pretty quickly. And then we'll get back into that for the rest of the day. At this point, the snow starts to be washed out. It starts to melt. And so not expecting too much heading into the evening, other than the pesky rain showers continuing. Numbers work back to around 40 degrees as we head towards the end of the day. But on the backside of that, we'll move back into snow briefly as we head into Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. We'll keep a few of those flakes around, and so we could get another coating. So even if the rain washes everything out and the snow goes away, we might end up with some more on the ground for Wednesday morning, although again, not too much as far as snowfall goes. We're going to look at that predicted snowfall map here starting at midnight, and once again, as we head throughout the morning hours, it's probably around, in reality, close to 1.5 to 2 inches of snow. It's more of that kind of slushy, wet snow across the area, so that's sort of what we have going. We also, in a few spots, might be able to get a little bit more than that, especially you notice places like Ionia and Alma, a little bit further to the north and west. That's where they get a little more of the snow. So those darker colors in the top left of the map, that's where they pick up just a little bit more, just because they're going to be in the snow longer before the rain moves in, mixing, and takes over. And by the time we wrap up our predicted snowfall map, once again, we've got not too much to write home about. And so most people look at this and say, well, that looks like Tuesday to me. You know, it's not as big a deal, but I think the timing is the important thing here. And so that's why we wanted to make it a first alert weather day. Yeah. It's not to overhype. It's not to tell you this is going to be the worst thing you've ever seen, because it's not. But it is going to make for a bit of a pesky morning drive. So just use a little extra caution as we head into Tuesday. Here's a wider look at the system. This hour by hour is the GFS model, the Global Forecast System. It's one of the American models that we use in the long to medium range to look at potential systems moving in. That's tomorrow's system. Again, moving into rain we see here for Tuesday evening. The snow stays to the north, so if you know folks from Big Rapids to Saginaw line and points north, they're going to come in with quite a bit more snow than we do. Backside of the system, we dry out, but then Thursday, one more quick system comes through mid-Michigan. This one will be a snowmaker for us, but again, we're not looking at too much. It's maybe an inch, if anything like that. Not a lot of snow. However, we are keeping a close eye now on a Friday system that moves in. This one a little further south than the one that comes through tomorrow. And so it's looking like, for the most part, we may be in the heavier snow right here in mid-Michigan for that. But it's still, of course, at the end of the week, several days out. So we'll continue to monitor that over the next few days in your first alert forecast. Keep an eye on things. One other thing to make note of. Heading towards the middle of the month here, we're going to do something we have not done in a very long time, and that's have an extended period of below normal temperatures. We're talking about cold air coming back in that we haven't seen since last January, moving into mid-Michigan. And what I mean by that is highs only in the teens at the end of this 10-day. So once again, first alert weather day for tomorrow, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, maybe even Sunday, possibly Monday, we're dealing with flurries and scattered snow showers in our forecast.
Is that 9 degrees I see for the following Tuesday and
Yeah,
Wednesday?
that's an
Wow.
overnight low. We might have a few that dip into the single digits, even those where I have 13, 12, 10 next week for lows. A few places outside of the bigger towns, which tend to get a little colder at night, the much more rural locations.
Yeah, that's
you,
chilly.
You may have yourself a couple of single-digit lows next week. And so, and the highs, again, only getting into the teens, staying below 20 maybe for several days in a row. We'd be lucky to get up to that 20-degree mark. One thing we do know is it will be cold. It'll be pretty breezy during that time, too. A blustery northwest wind is what we expect. And so even when it's not snowing, we don't see much of the sun, and we don't see much of the warmth. I mean, we're talking if lows are around 10 degrees, single digits in spots, and you get any bit of a breeze, we're talking about wind chills near and even below zero, probably for most mornings next week. If you're an early riser, you get up and move out the door, you're going to want to have the layers and be bundled up because it's cold air. We just have not seen certainly any of this season, but again, you got to go all the way back. The coldest day we've had since mid-February last year was February 17th when it was 26. And we've got several days at the end of this 10-day that are colder than that. And so you really got to go back to January of last year, the last time we had a stretch of days that didn't make it to 20 degrees like this one in the forecast. Nothing we haven't seen, nothing we can't handle, but we just wanted to, again, give you the first alert to what we expect is going to be a big change in the pattern. Not only the chances for snow that are working in, but also the colder air. It is Michigan. It is mid-January we're getting into now. We knew it was coming sooner or later, and apparently it's now.
Yeah, well, something else that I want to make note of that is last week when you started tracking the system, you saw the different models coming in and how large it was. There was more snow covering Lansing. There was like this fine little line between Lansing and Jackson that had the snow and the rain, and it looks like now it's moving more north, so Lansing's getting more of that rain.
Yeah, so that's kind of what we're headed towards, right? So tomorrow morning, going to have a bit of that sloppy, slushy snow, but then by mid to late morning, we're already back into the rain in most places, and we ride that the rest of the day. So again, even if we do get some snow to stick, it washes out pretty quick, and it's going to be tough to get a good measurement. And so before, I want to jump ahead of it, before I get people saying, oh, we didn't have 2-3 inches, that's probably how much snow will fall. How much is actually on the ground at any one point? Could be less than that. It just, that's the official total that comes in, the amount of snowfall that comes down. Again, the impacts are mainly going to be for the roads out there. And in fact, I've been saying this to a couple people who we work with as well, too. This is one of those events where if you don't have to go anywhere, if you don't really feel like getting outside and shoveling when that kind of dense snow settles in the morning, just wait a couple hours.
Yeah.
By the afternoon, a lot of that's going to get washed out by the rain and is going to melt when temperatures rise to 40. And so if you happen to be just hanging out indoors, which is a good idea on a gloomy day tomorrow, maybe taking care of some things around the house, you don't need the snowblower. You may not need any of that stuff because the rain will wash it all out by the end of the day. You might want to keep those things close by, though, the shovels and everything else for the end of the week, just in case that system materializes. But once again, First Alert Weather Team, you guys are in good hands. We're going to keep a close eye on that as we go throughout the week. Yeah. Great place people can get that information, too, is always the First Alert Weather app, which, once again, is absolutely free. All you have to do is download that. It's in the App Store, Google Play. All the wonderful, great information we have on there. It's constantly updated with video forecasts. It's got interactive radar, traffic notifications and updates. Very user-friendly product. And again, we try very hard to make this the best weather product, not only in mid-Michigan, but anywhere. Whether you're staying around here or you got travels that take you to Grand Rapids or Detroit or north in the state or south of the state line, anywhere across mid-Michigan, we've got you covered from St. John's to Hillsdale and everywhere in between. And everywhere outside of that, too. Don't want to discredit anybody else. But again, once again, First Alert Weather app, it's a great tool to have for you there. And certainly going to help you on a week like this when we've got so many opportunities for precipitation, even if they're not all really big ones. So that's a good thing to keep in mind. You wake up and the forecast has changed a little bit. Maybe Thursday's snow, instead of being in the morning, gets moved up to the midday. That's something you can check. First Alert Weather app can help you do that. Once again, absolutely free in both those places right there.
Yeah, thank you, Justin. Google Play, Apple App Store, make sure you download it. Like Justin was saying, a variety of ways to look at the forecast and also receive those traffic alert updates with those slick conditions out on the roads.
Yeah, very helpful. Good to have.
Yeah. And like our meteorologists have been tracking this storm throughout the past week or so, maybe even longer, you've been noticing, if you've been tuning in, how those models have slightly shifted. So downloading the First Alert Weather app, continuously checking in both on air and online to our meteorologists, is the best thing you can do to make sure you're staying aware and prepared for all the different changing weather that's in our forecast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Thank
and I
you
was
to-
checking
thank
for
you to-
questions.
Yeah, thank you to Chris for watching. We always appreciate you tuning in with us.
Oh yeah,
Over
hopefully
in-
it's
over
looking
in
nice
East
in East
Lansing.
Lansing, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. A little cloudy, but everybody's dealing with it today.
Oh yeah, very cloudy, kind of gloomy, but maybe you can get outside and eventually enjoy that pretty snow. Hopefully
Yeah.
it's pretty snow.
I hope so.
I know. I hope so,
Tomorrow's
too.
won't last, but hey, if we get one on Friday, that one might stick around for a bit with these colder temps coming in.
Oh yeah. Okay, well make sure to stay up to date. Justin will be on Studio 10 coming up at 3 o'clock today.
Yep, sounds good.
All
Hope
right,
to see you
thank
guys there.
Justin. And then he'll also be on First at 4. Whoa, that is super loud.
Yeah.
I do want to preview what is coming up on First at 4 today, followed by our 90 minutes of news. So we are bringing in an expert to talk about the FAFSA or student aid, federal student aid changes that are happening. So if you are applying for student federal aid, here's what you're going to need to know amidst all of the changes that is happening again with FAFSA. Coming up, News 10 at 5. The Lions had quite the win yesterday against the Minnesota Vikings. So we're going to have Tim Stout preview the Lions' next game, which is coming up in a week. So get ready for that. Lots of excitement, especially in the Detroit area. And honestly, with the Michigan game happening, which you're going to see Justin Kent on that for News 10 at 6 in just a bit. But lots of fun stuff going on sports-wise across Michigan, so I'm sure there are many excited fans. And then coming up, News 10 at 5:30, Jordan Burrell is going to be talking about snow preps around mid-Michigan, how different companies are getting ready for all the snowfall that Justin was just talking about. And then News 10 at 6, Justin Kent is at a Michigan watch party in Ann Arbor. So talking about all of that fun, and you can make sure, I'm trying to find Deanna's name here, but you can tune in for all of that fun again. Michigan Wolverines taking on the Washington Huskies tonight for the national championship game. Who will be the champion, Deanna?
Right. We shall see.
That is the big question. We shall see. Do you have a team you're rooting for?
Well, I got to root for Michigan.
You do kind of have to
We're
root for
rooting
Michigan. I know. And I'm not a Michigan fan, so I'm like, ugh.
It's our home.
It is
Yeah,
our
we gotta
home.
root for 'em.
There you go. Go blue, I
Yes.
guess. No, I'll take it out. I take it back. I take it back. We have some Sparty fans in here. But yes, moving back on track here, Deanna, you're working on a pretty big story today. Michigan
Yes.
GOP. You were actually just on a Zoom call getting some more information. So what can you tell us?
Yes. Well, I'm sure everyone's kind of heard the latest news with the Michigan GOP right now. They had their latest meeting and voting this past weekend to remove Chairwoman Christina Caramo. Now, many are saying that meeting is not official, as it didn't go again according to bylaws. And then, of course, the committee members, who one of them I just got done speaking with, is saying that it was official, meaning the voting was official. So, the whole deal is I'm just trying to get to the bottom of it and get some understanding, get the viewers some understanding of kind of who's going to be, if Karamo's still going to be chairwoman, or, if they're going to have an acting chair. And so it's a little bit of a back and forth type deal. But we're getting some understanding with the bylaws and seeing that some things might line up and others are a little on the tricky side.
Okay. Yeah, I know I was talking to you earlier, and it seemed like there was a little bit of back and forth happening.
Right.
So.
Yes. So, I mean, a lot of this mixing in with, this year being election year, big year for Michigan.
very big year,
and
yes.
so, we're talking about that, just kind of the impact that could have on either voters or just those seats that Republicans are wanting to flip. So, it's a lot going on right now.
That is a lot. And you will have more coming up when during our 90 minutes?
During our 5 o'clock show on news.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you, Dan. I know you have a lot to unpack, so you can help clarify that for everyone out there. But good luck.
And thank you.
And we'll see you News 10
Stay
at
tuned.
5:30.
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock.
Yes,
Goodness.
if you
Okay.
see it at
News 10 at 5.
5:30, you'll miss it.
You'll miss it. News 10 at 5. There you go. But you can always go to WILX.com if you want to rewatch anything, see our big stories. Make sure you tune in there as well. But tonight, I'll let you get back to it, Deanna. Thank you so much. Happening tonight right here on TV 10. You can tune in for Victor's Valiant. That is happening tonight at 7 o'clock. Getting ready for the big game between Michigan and Washington. And I'll put that up one more time. I was getting some things ready, but there you go. Here's the information you need to know for tonight, so make sure you're tuning in. Of course, it is a very, very big game. So I don't know who you're rooting for. You can let me know in the comments if you'd like. But yeah, I'm sure a lot of fans are ready. I know that Delta was even having some flights from Detroit Metropolitan Airport all the way to Houston. So of course, getting all the Michigan Wolverine fans down there and creating even more competition for the national championship game. So that is happening tonight. Make sure that you are tuning in. But of course, we have a lot more coming up during our 90 minutes of news to get to. So we have a preview from Erin Bowling, News 10 at 5:30. We're going to see what she has coming up.
Thanks, Taylor. Today I'm at Leslie City Hall because their residents have been receiving these notices since about 2020 saying there is action level for lead in their drinking water. I just spoke with the city manager about the specific amount of lead in their drinking water and what this means for area residents. I'll have this story on News 10 at 5:30. Back to you, Taylor.
All right, thank you, Erin. Again, talking about what they're going to be doing with all of the lead in the water. News 10 at 5:30 with Erin Bowling. And then we have News 10 at 6 with Mars Anderson, and he has a heavy story today that he'll be letting us know what he's working on.
Good morning, Taylor. Mars Anderson here outside of Berkey Hall, where I got the opportunity to speak with students. This is actually the first day of the spring semester, and the first time many students are entering the building following the incident that happened in February 2023. I have more on that in our 90 minutes of news.
All right, thank you, Mars. And it did get a little loud in here, so if you were unable to hear that, coming up News 10 at 5, or News 10 at 6 today, Mars Anderson is going to be talking more with students, talking about the first day of classes back from winter break and also for the spring semester, and also talking about the first day of classes back in Berkey Hall. That is where 2 of the 3 students who were killed during the February 13th mass shooting on Michigan State University's campus happened. They will not be reopening the classrooms where the 2 students were killed. However, this is the first day back in classes for the semester for the students. So a very heavy, impactful story that Mars is on. Again, that is coming up News 10 at 6 today. Just talking about students and staff getting back to Berkey Hall for classes. I know that Friday during Mid-Michigan Matters, we had Buddy's Pals, a comfort dog program come in. They had actually a group of comfort dogs at Berkey Hall earlier this morning and throughout the entire day to really provide that support as students and staff transition back into Berkey Hall. So again, it's almost been 1 year since the mass shooting on Michigan State University's campus. Make sure you tune in to Mars Anderson coming up during our 90 minutes of news, News 10 at 6, for the very latest on that. And with everything regarding the mass shooting and following all of that, we do want to share our You're Not Alone mental health series that we're doing all year long here on News 10. So whether it's for you, whether it's for someone else, maybe you know a student or faculty member who is returning to Berkey Hall and returning to classes this semester at Michigan State University, maybe they're going through a little bit of a hard time getting back into that. Maybe it's bringing up some unwanted memories or some challenging memories for them. So if they're looking for resources, if you're looking for resources, pull out your phone and scan that QR code on your screen, and it'll pull up a list of resources from around the Mid-Michigan community. And you don't have to exactly choose these resources we're providing. However, you can use this as a guide to help you get toward the right resource that will help you and maybe find someone that best understands the situation that you're going through. I also want to note that if you are a veteran, you can call or text and press option number 1. That will connect you toward another veteran who shares a similar experience to you, can better understand the emotional well-being that you are in. So again, You're Not Alone mental health series, we're going to continue throughout the year here on News 10. Air stories from community members and health experts on how you can improve your mental health and also the challenges that community members face around the community. And know that you're not alone because there are people out there too experiencing anxiety, suicidal thoughts, depression, stress, all of those different symptoms and different types of mental health challenges. So again, scan the QR code. There are resources out there for you or someone else that you may know or not know. But you never know when you will need those resources. So again, You're Not Alone mental health series, feel free to go check that out. But again, one more time, I do want to give a quick look at our First Alert weather app because again, starting tomorrow, we're going to get some more of that snow rain mix, more of the wintry weather moving into the Mid-Michigan area. Here, Justin Bradford breaking it all down for you not too long ago. So download the First Alert weather app, get your latest First Alert forecast updates, and also you can get more of the updates for traffic too, because it's not just the road, or it's not just the snow that's coming down. You're also going to get more of the road impacts as well. So I'll give one more quick look outside at downtown Jackson right now, because you're seeing at the current moment, it's just a lot of gray skies. Everything's pretty dry and quiet. But again, happening tomorrow is when we're going to see more of the winter weather move back in. It's been pretty dry throughout December, getting little flurries here and there, and even so far during the beginning part of January. But get ready, fasten your seatbelt, stay alert, and stay prepared for all of these wintry systems. Again, Justin Bradford coming up at 3 o'clock in just over half an hour on Studio 10, followed by First at 4 and our 90 minutes of news. Hope you have a great rest of your week, everyone.